endless skies. Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained, I thrive, I
All right. Well, thank you for joining us here on Nomads 50 Plus. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and my current mission to interview 1,000 digital nomads. That's right, folks, 1,000 digital nomads on what it's like to leap into the life and why it's not as scary as you think. And today we have a special guest. Maybe you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got into it.
Wow, 1,000. I'm more curious what number am I now?
You're about number
How
20
close
or
are you?
so have a long way to go.
Oh,
Really long way to
really?
go.
Oh, wow. I thought it's gonna be like a couple of hundreds. Hi, I'm Benjamin, or as on Substack, some people may see me as Digital Citizen.
Digital
I'm
citizen.
German. Digital citizen, yeah. That's something actually my I was sitting in WeWork and I was talking to someone who has a newsletter which is quite successful on Substack. And he basically pestered me to do my own Substack. And I was like, no, I'm not doing
Nice.
that. I don't know anything about newsletters. And then we came up with a name. I said, Citizen, yeah, that sounds cool. So yeah, that's the name. I'm Benjamin. I'm 37. I'm originally from Germany,
Hmm.
but I do live in Thailand. I moved
Nice.
there th 3 years ago. Yeah,
Very cool. Very
exactly. Yeah.
cool. So,
Yeah.
so what made you decide? So, have you always wanted to travel? Have you always wanted to do something like this, or what got you into this?
So basically what got me into this, I the first time I traveled for a long time was actually after high school. I mean, actually
Hmm.
before high school, I like to travel. I went to, for example, we went to one time I went with a friend. We were 16. We flew to Sardinia, which is an island of Italy, and we just rented two scooters, which was just legal when we were 16. And we just
Nice.
drove around the whole island, just not knowing anything about the language, and we just wanted to travel to see something new. And then after high school, when I was 19, I traveled to Australia, originally
Wow.
to stay for 6 months, but then I stayed for 2 years actually, and I
Whoa.
almost stayed on. I was like, don't need to
How did you
study.
do
I
that?
don't need.
Can you just do that? Can you just go to Australia for 2 years if you want? I mean, did you have any visa things that you had to deal with, or how did that work
You
out?
know, like, yeah. So everyone in high school was already thinking like, hey, I want to become a banker. I want to become a pilot. I want to become a doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I just went to school for 12 years. I don't want to go to school again and then work. I don't want to do that. I want to do something different. So I found
That's pretty
this.
smart. You're a rebel. You're like a trailblazer right there. That's
Yeah,
great.
I don't know if you know, like, I don't know if you have any German people on the podcast, but it's more in Germany, more or less like, hey, you go to school, you study, you get a safe job, you get a house, you get a dog, you get married, you get kids, and
Yeah,
that's like
yeah.
the
The
and that's just like,
standard thing. It's the American
and
dream,
I
the
was like,
German dream, the British dream. Like they all have the same dream, very similar.
yeah, and it was not my dream.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
For
So
some
I
people, it's a
found this,
nightmare, right? I mean, who wants to do
yeah.
that?
And it all seemed so predictable. And I was like, I don't want, I mean, I didn't have that need for safety when I was younger. I was like, yeah, I wanted to do something different. So I
Nice.
found this work and travel program somewhere. We had the internet back then. I mean, I'm
Wow.
27. I grew up with the internet,
Was that
but it
before
was
or after
later
you went
than
to Australia? Was that after you got back from Australia?
the internet. I know it was
No, no,
before. I mean,
no.
it was a two.
This
Oh,
work and travel program.
Uh, actually, they started. I don't know when they started that, but the work and travel program was in Australia. So when everyone was gonna think, okay, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna become a pilot, whatever. I said, okay, I want to do something different, and I found that program, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna go from high school to Australia and just
Oh, that's how
see
you ended up in
what it's
Australia for
like.
2 years. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but I planned to go for 6 months, but then I actually stayed for 2 years, and I almost didn't come back. But then I actually did come back after 2 years, though. Yeah.
Nice. What made you come back to Germany?
Well, I had that. I could have stayed on, but I there was not the opportunity for me to actually study in Australia. For foreigners, like it makes sense for Australia to say, "Hey, we're gonna fund your studies while you were German," and then you probably just go back to Germany and we're gonna sit on all the tuition fees. They
Right.
said, "No, we're not gonna do that." And Germany was like, "Yeah, we're not gonna fund your studies there, and then you're not gonna come back to Germany." And I didn't have the funds for a whole 3 years of bachelor. So I was like, yeah, I probably have to go back to Germany, study, and then go somewhere else
Right.
to work with my education. And that was a smart move because otherwise, I would have worked, but without a degree, I wouldn't have gone far. Yeah.
What were you
Yeah.
studying?
I was studying business administration. So I
Hmm.
went to back to Germany. I did 3 years of business administration, then did one, actually almost 2 years in the UK, did another degree. And then I came back to Germany again after 18 months in the UK. And then I started working. But then while I was working, the first 2 years, I did an MBA as well. And
Hmm.
then after that, I was like, okay, now I have all my education. And now what can I do? Yeah,
Right. So
that was the thing. Yeah.
what kind of what were you planning on doing? Like were you just going to get like a role, or what were you like what did you prepare what did the education prepare you for? Like what were you shooting for?
Well, Well, I came back and everyone was already working, I was like, I was 2 years behind, so to say. And I was like, hey, I need to do this as quickly as possible. So I was like,
Yeah.
how can I get as many degrees as possible in the quickest time frame to catch
Yeah.
up with the guys who did that 2 years before? So I was like, okay, I can do that dual bachelor in Germany and UK. And I did that. It was like 4 years and I had two. And then I was working. I was like, okay, I need money, but I also need to do that MBA. So I was like, okay, I was working 4 days a week and then I was studying 3 days a week. So I had a 7 day
Wow.
work week for 2 years. And the company I was working for, which was a consultancy, said, hey, if you work 4 days and we can basically sell you for more because you're an MBA in training,
Oh, nice.
but we're gonna fund your MBA. So I was like, "Okay, that's perfect. I don't have any free time, but I can do that for
Awesome.
2 years." So I was like, okay, let's do that
So
MBA.
this
Let's
was this
just
when you were in your 20s? You were in your 20s at the time.
uh yeah, I was when I came back from Australia, I was 25 or 26. I can't remember exactly. So I was like, okay, I'm late.
Yeah.
And then and then just before I turned 30, I finished all the bachelor's and I started working. Okay, now you're a consultant. That's cool, but you're almost 30. So now let's quickly do that MBA as well. And then I think when I was finished, I was 30 with the MBA and the first 2 years of work experience, 4 years
Right.
of work experience.
Right.
I was like, okay, now I caught up. Now I can breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I could breathe, and I was like, okay, now I have that 4 years of work experience. I have the MBA, and now I have to do something else. Yeah.
Right. So and when you were a consultant, you were like, this is not the job for me, or this is not the life for me. Like what made you decide you didn't want to do that anymore?
So yeah, I mean, as a consultant, your life is pretty much planned out. You have that whole topic of okay, you work for 2 years, and then they check everything you do and say, okay, you're up or out. So either you go up one step from consultant to what was it, from junior to consultant to senior consultant to manager to junior partner to partner.
Right.
So I was like, man, that's the same thing
That's the
as
whole that's the
out
same
of school.
progression
It's
we
the
were talking
same thing
about.
again, and yeah, you make more money, and yeah, and then I don't know, you earn a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
it's the
money,
same
but
grind. Same grind all
uh,
over and over again, right?
it's the same grind, and I don't say it's a bad thing. I mean, I have friends who do that. I mean, I have friends even in the States who do a different thing in tech. They do the thing where they go to Google or to Meta or whatever, and they have a lot of fun. And they sometimes some of these guys have such cool creative roles in those companies.
Oh yeah.
But but the consulting thing is different, especially in Germany. It's really hierarchical and it's really you have to know who to report to and who's your commanding officer. I was like, no, no,
Oh
no,
yeah.
I
No,
can't
it's
do
just
that.
like
Like,
that
I
for
don't.
regular consulting companies too. It's just like that. And
Yeah,
tech companies are a different breed, but regular consulting
yeah,
companies is the same thing. You know the old joke about consultants. What do they do? Anything for money,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, but the cool thing is though, and I don't wanna just say bad things about consulting. The cool thing
No.
is you learn so many frameworks. Like you learn
Yes.
all these things, like all these frameworks and all these industries. Like I worked in wind power, I worked in manufacturing, I worked in automotive and automotive finance, and hospitality even. I consulted for a bakery once, for a bakery chain,
Nice.
for example.
Well,
And I
you're
worked for
absolutely right because like if you have on the continuum of cool jobs, you've got the
yeah,
like working for a corporate like a corporate job where you're just doing the same thing in and out, consultant or
yeah,
an entrepreneur. The consultant is cool because you get the best of both worlds. You get to work with all these different companies and learn all these different frameworks and work with all sorts of different people across all sorts of different industries, whereas the poor
yeah,
corporate worker is sort of stuck doing that one thing.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have like 20 jobs in 2 years, which is
Yeah,
kind of
it's
cool.
cool.
So I was like, yeah, okay, that's actually not bad, Just didn't like the predictability. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I was thinking, okay, I did that for altogether for 5 years, 3.5 years in the first job, and then 2 years in the second one. And I went all the way up to the position just before you have to put in equity and become a partner. I was like, okay, now is the time to either go
Wait a minute,
all
you
in on
have
the
to
one
put
path.
equity in. You have to put money into the business.
Yeah, like if
Okay.
you like you go up from, let's say, from junior up to manager, and then that's actually the worst role because you know so much that you can lead people but you have to deal with all the stuff. You have to basically do all the things that the partners don't want to do.
Right.
But you're not at that point where you are a partner and you have equity and you actually share the profits as well of the
Right.
company.
So it's like the
It's
worst
stuff you
role.
have to take. But yeah, you have the most responsibility and the less these time. And because a lot of people in their 30s go up there, it makes a lot of sense because you have a lot of energy to do that. And before that, you don't have a lot of energy, but you don't have the knowledge. And above that, you still have energy, but you don't have the energy of a 30-year-old.
Right.
So it's kind of perfect for a 30 to, let's say, 40-year-old to be in that role. Yeah.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
happened to make you decide not to do this anymore? Like when did you leave and what happened? What triggered you leaving?
Yeah, so actually the thing, I mean, it was by chance. 2019, I said, okay, I can't be in Germany anymore. That was my first thing. Don't necessarily need to get out of consulting yet, but I need to leave Germany to be out in a system which is more free, and I need better weather and I need different kind of people around me.
Right.
So I said, I'm gonna apply for a job in Singapore.
Nice.
So I found a
I love
consultancy in
Singapore.
Singapore. Yeah, me too. I love that place. That's a great place. And then there was a company that said, "Hey, Ben, we want you as a consultant here. You can grow that business." And I said, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna come." I quit the job in Germany, quit my flat, quit all the memberships, sold all my stuff, and I had 6 suitcases. The
Nice.
thing was, and that's the problem though, the thing was that was I decided in November 2019, and I got the job in December, and then I was supposed to fly out in March 2020, and we all know
Right.
what happened in March
Oh my
2020.
God. No.
Oh, my flight was supposed to go on the 18th of March, I think, or
Oh no, that
I
was
don't
just
even that
around the
date.
time. I remember it very well that time.
And on the 16th of March, and picture this, like I was in my flat, like the suitcases were packed, the furniture was out except for my bed, and everything
In
was
Germany or
canceled
in Singapore?
in Germany.
Okay.
And then Singapore said, "Hey, we're not letting anyone in and out."
Uh-huh.
And my flight was canceled, and my I had appointments with real estate agents to actually find a flat, and I had a move out date for my flat. I was sitting on packed bags. I was like,
Oh
"Shit, what am I gonna
geez.
do now?" And I didn't have a job anymore either because I quit
Oh
that one,
no. Worst possible
and no
timing.
and no one was hiring during that period,
No, of course not. Holy cow. Did you
Yeah.
have enough money to get
So
through? I hope you did. You're okay.
at that time, I had enough money to survive for like 6 months and comfortably, and I mean, I had to pay off all the tuition as well. I did
Holy
that.
cow. My gosh.
Man, it was really scary. And then, so I was like, yeah, what am I going to do now? And then the thing was, you also during that time, you couldn't view any condos. You couldn't
Hmm.
go and say, I want to see that condo, I want to move there because you
Yeah.
couldn't see anyone in person.
Yeah.
So I was like, where am I going to move? And my landlord said, fuck you, you quit. I want you out. I want to renovate that place. Man, so I was like, yeah. So I went to a friend's condo. He was not in Germany. He couldn't get back in. So I said, hey, just take my flat. I grabbed my bags, went to his flat.
Nice.
And then I stayed for 2 months, and at that time I ran because I was doing triathlon at the time, and I was so restless. So in that 1 month I ran 4 marathons around the lake close
Wow.
to my place because I was like I need to get that energy. I was like, okay,
So
I'm gonna
it's
run, I'm
it's
gonna
funny you
run.
should say that because a lot of people had like really worked on their fitness during all that,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
I
they
lost
lost weight, they
so
ran,
much. I lost so much weight.
they
Yeah,
did so well. It really was it was kind of like a pause. They really did a lot for people's health, I find. It really
yeah.
helped a lot of people.
Totally, yeah. I met so many people running, and everyone was talking about the same thing. So you kind of run, you're really fit, you're outside, no one is working,
Yeah.
and so you connect with somebody who are like, oh yeah, man, what's going on here? Yeah, yeah, no, but let's go for a run. So let's just go for a run, Let's go for coffee. We can't go for coffee, but we can buy a coffee and go somewhere else,
That's right.
and
You can go for a
like
run.
oh.
So
Yeah.
what
So
happens? What happened after that?
so then I basically said, okay, what can you do? So I checked all the countries that were on my list, except for Singapore, of course, where I could just still immigrate to. And there were some on the list. There were actually places where you could fly to during COVID and immigrate. And two of them were Malta and Cyprus. So I said, okay, Cyprus was on my list. Cyprus is a Mediterranean island just below Turkey.
Oh yeah, I know
They
exactly what
speak,
that is.
yeah.
My background is Greek, so I'm familiar with
Oh,
Cyprus.
oh, well, you know it really well.
Hmm.
So yeah, I said, you know what? I don't have a job. I have my suitcases packed anyways because I didn't unpack them in a new place. So I'm just gonna buy a one-way ticket and gonna move to Cyprus. I know I can set up a company
Wait a
there.
minute.
So
You
yeah,
just what just got up and left? Did you have a
yeah.
place to stay? I mean, how did you
Huh?
did you plan any of
Nothing.
this?
I booked. I booked a one-way ticket to Cyprus. I booked an Airbnb for 1 month as well. And I said, you know what? The world is on pause right now. So
Mm,
what I can do now is to say, okay, I know my skills. I know I'm good at solving problems, and I actually like that a lot. And I can emigrate there. And if it doesn't work, and in 6 months the world's not going to be much different. It might as well going to be worse. So I can go there and I can create a business and I can reach out to clients and see, okay, how
yeah,
can I sell my skills in Cyprus? And if it doesn't work in 6 months, I can just go back and take
yeah,
another job, or maybe Singapore's open by then.
yeah.
But if it works, I can live on that island with my own company and work on
I
something
love
of my
that. A
own.
lot of people were just sort of
So
cowering in fear at home, and you just went and took the initiative and said, "Okay, I'm going." I love it.
yeah, I didn't want to waste time, and I was like, yeah, Singapore's not going to do anything. Germany's not going to hire me. So that's fine. Just do something on my own. And then yeah, I flew there. I went to that Airbnb, and then I got some real estate agents, looked at some condos, and then 2 weeks later I had my own condo,
Nice.
and I set up that desk. I mean, it was just a desk, my laptop, and what else was there? Oh yeah, there was a cat following me around in Cyprus. So I was like, you know what, might as well take care of that cat as well. So I had a cat and a desk and a
There
laptop.
are lots of cats in Greece and Cyprus sort of
Oh
wandering
man,
around, so
so
easy
many.
to adopt.
Yeah. And yeah, it was exciting. It was scary. I mean, it was really scary. For the first 3 weeks, I didn't sleep well because, man, I knew I had 6 months runway.
Right.
But then I can't reach out to everyone. And I said, hey, basically, we've been working before together. I'm out of all these companies now. This is what I can do. And this is what I can't do. And this is what I charge. And then 3 weeks later, one of my old clients said, hey, you know what? We actually need someone like you right now. When can you start? I said, we can start today. And then
Nice.
I think I started like a week later. And then, yeah, I worked for that client for 2 years after that in that same
Wow.
role on a
Was that
consulting
like a
project. And
full-time
I
gig sort of thing, or did you have
not
multiple
full time.
clients?
It was yeah, it was not a full time gig. So I started my freedom. It was basically a freelancer for that client with my own brand. It was called Behave at the time. I tried to put that AI in already because I was thinking, okay, this is going to be big at some time. And if it's going to be bigger AI, it was 2021. There was not much going on in AI, but I actually had my first AI project 6 months after the first one.
Nice.
And yeah, so I just did that for a year in Cyprus and grew that company, and then yeah, went on from Cyprus after 1 year as well.
Nice. So
Yeah.
you were and so you basically maintained the business the same way. You kept your clients and you just went from country to country after that. How like where did you end up going over time?
So yeah, I did that for 1 year, and I got more confidence. I was like, okay, you can earn way more money than before. You have way more freedom, and Cyprus has the cool thing where you Cyprus is actually a cool, I say a cool starter country to do that, because first of all, the living costs are not that high. Like it's definitely lower than Germany. The tax system is interesting because not as an American. As Americans is a different story with your citizens-based taxation. But as a German, you can go, you cut your ties, and then you're basically tax-free tax-free from Germany. They don't tax you anymore.
Oh,
So I
nice.
was in Cyprus, and then if you create that company, the corporate tax is like 12.5%, and then you pay yourself a tax-free salary of up to 20K, and 20K is enough to live in Cyprus,
Hmm.
and the rest goes for dividends. So I was like, okay, that whole system, I know how that works now. How can I apply that to somewhere else? And then I went to UAE after 1 year, and I
Oh,
created a new
nice.
consultancy with a friend. He said, hey, what are you doing in Cyprus is really cool. This is my skill set. That fits really well with yours. Let's create a new company in UAE, combine our client base, and basically do what we are doing together from the UAE. And I said, yeah, fine, let's do it. And I flew to Dubai, and same thing again.
Nice. So how long were you in Dubai for?
Not long, just a couple of months. I
Hmm.
realized Dubai is not my place. Good for networking, it's good for making connections, good for making money, but there's no, for me, there was not that much of a soul there. I kind of like a little
Mm.
bit of chaos as well, and like I have in Thailand. And yeah, so I left Dubai for Thailand. That was in 2021, 2022. I don't have the exact dates, but
Did
yeah,
you stay
three
with
years
that
ago.
partner and you still had the same clients when you moved, or did you break ties with him as well?
No, we still have that business. Like we're still
Okay.
working together. We've been friends for 8 years now, and we've been working together for almost 4 years now. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah,
That's
but
excellent.
but I did many things on the way apart from the consulting thing as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, what else did you end up doing?
we tried out different things. So we opened up a company in Estonia because a friend of mine, Robert, he's from Germany. He's a really clever developer. Like he knows all about algorithms and like he was the most clever kid in school. And he said, "Hey, when you have these ideas, I want to create algorithms and I want to go into trading." So we opened up a company in Estonia and we created an algorithm and we started trading with that Estonian company
Oh,
from
nice. Cool.
Cyprus.
Cool.
Then he moved to Cyprus as well. We did consulting together and trading together. And yeah, we closed that company after 1.5 years because consulting made more than trading. And yeah, the myth of you can be a day trader and make a lot of money, I don't believe that at all because we tried it and it doesn't work. You make some money for sure, but if you don't have a lot of capital and if you don't have a high risk tolerance, it's actually not really well suited. So that
Right.
was something we learned
So
without
you
losing
kind
a
of
lot of
did that
money,
as a
which is
side
great.
hustle to your consulting gig? Is that
Yeah,
what the,
exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. So that wasn't,
Yeah.
your consulting wasn't exciting enough, so you thought you'd do some more business on the side.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
So it's like, so you left, why did you decide to go to Thailand of all places? Like, do you have any ties there? Did you know anybody or did you
No,
just
I
want to
mean,
go?
I made a list. Germans love to make lists and then have to be analytical. So I was like, what places do I like? And I was like, okay, maybe I want to go to New York, maybe to Singapore, to Bali, to Thailand. And like, what's the living cost? What's the quality of life? What's the internet connectivity? What's the community like? And all these things. And then
Right.
I rated all that. I said, okay, my top three are Singapore again,
Hmm.
New York, and Thailand. So Bangkok
Hmm.
or Chiang Mai. Singapore, New York, man, housing over there is like the way I want to, the kind of condo I want to live in those places. I can't afford it. Like it's like
Oh
six
yeah.
or 8K a month. Like it's too expensive. So let's go
Oh,
to Thailand.
it's
And I went to
ridiculous.
Thailand. Yeah.
So where in Thailand are you? Chiang Mai?
So I went to Chiang Mai for 1 year and then I would move to Bangkok
Hmm.
3 years ago. Yeah.
Is there a
So I've
particular
been
reason
living in
why you
Bangkok for
moved?
3 years.
Is it like it's better vibe for you? Is like it aligns more with what you like?
Yeah, so Chiang Mai is great as a starter, but if you like a lot of energy, like if you like to be in an environment where there's something going on all the time, like for example in New York or Singapore, Chiang Mai is a bit quiet. It's a
Mm.
great place to work and a great place to have nature. You can cycle and you can hike up the mountains, and it's beautiful up there, really. But yeah, after 1 year, I was like, man, it's getting a bit boring. I need more energy. So I went to Bangkok, and Bangkok has a lot of energy.
So and how long have you been in Thailand now
Um,
in total?
about 3.5, 4 years now, yeah.
Wow. So you basically, it's kind of like this is the longest you've been anywhere other than Germany.
Yeah, actually is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Nice.
So Germany was 5 years between the studies and leaving. Australia was 2 years, UK was 1.5, Cyprus was one, UAE was just a couple of months. So yeah,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, it's the longest
So you
one. Yeah.
must really like it there. Are you planning on staying there or do you
Yeah.
have eyes to go somewhere else?
So right now I have a visa, like the golden visa goes for up to 20 years. So I can basically stay until I'm, yeah, mid 50s. And
Wow.
I'm probably going to take advantage of that to have that base for the months where Thailand is great. So between November and February is great months to be in Thailand, especially up north because it's a bit colder. It's not that hot and there's no rainy season. And then I'm planning to have a second base somewhere else, and probably yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if I want to say yet because I don't want to jinx it, but more towards east. So maybe Spain or Portugal or Italy would be nice to live there for half a year and then live in Thailand for a couple of months and then spend a couple of months in Germany with my family. Yeah,
So
that's the
back
idea.
in Europe, basically.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure yet. See how it develops over there as well. But yeah, so the hot contenders are Singapore, Japan, and Southern Europe. Yeah.
Well, Southern Europe is cheaper, but the other two countries are a lot more expensive, aren't they? Well, Japan's not that
Yeah.
expensive, right? I mean,
Depends where
there's
you go.
places in
Depends where you
Japan
go.
which are cheaper, but well,
Yeah,
that's cool.
for sure. Yeah.
So I think you've
Yeah.
answered the money question is that
Yeah.
you're still running your consulting business and
Mm.
like that's where most of your funds come from.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the main one. We opened up a new one, which is basically an AI automation consultancy. It's the same thing, just different products we sell there and different type of clients and shorter engagements. And then we have I invested into a franchise as well last year. So we opened up a tea franchise in Bangkok.
Oh, nice.
Uh, yeah. So
Look
that's
at you. You
another
got like
thing
three,
that's
four businesses going. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and see how it goes, But yeah, that's another one. And yeah,
And
so
you're not
doing all
too
these
busy
things
yet.
and
You'll probably do more, right? How's the tea franchise going? Is it going all right?
it's good. Yeah, I was there. Yes, yesterday we opened so we have one, the biggest mall in Bangkok is One Bangkok, which is next to Lumpini Park, which is the biggest park in Bangkok. And then there's another mall close to the airport called Seacon Mall. We just opened one there 2 days ago. It opened 2 days ago. And then we have a pop-up in a mall right in the center where I was yesterday for the first time. But it's just like a small pop-up, not really a store. Yeah, so let's say it's 2.5 now. And see how many we open. But yeah,
Nice.
so far
So
that's
I'm
another,
assuming,
yeah.
were you staying, you were on the Greek or the Turkish side of Cyprus?
Greek
Greek
side,
side?
yeah.
How's your Greek?
Yeah. Um, Kalimera. Not good at all.
And
I
then,
can't
so
say
here
much.
you
Yeah.
are, you're a German native speaker, you speak
Yeah.
English. You went to Cyprus where it's Greek. You went to Dubai. I'm not sure what they
Mm.
speak there. I guess Arabic. And then now you're in Thailand where they speak Thai.
Yeah.
How are you doing with languages? I mean, are you starting to learn? Are you okay using German and or English in these places?
Yeah, so in Cyprus, actually, I had a few words that I could speak while I was there. So like good morning and hey, I want a coffee and how are you? And that the thing is when you learn a few words, and I think I did that no, I did a note recently, like language acquisition is a form of respect. So if you learn a few words in that language, even if you're not even able to have a simple conversation, it's really appreciated. Like it's the same
Right.
when someone says to me in German, Guten Morgen, like good morning. And that person doesn't know me, but it knows it's German. It's like, oh, that's really cool that you actually remember that one thing.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way to connect with people. So you connect with the people by just saying these few words, and they're like, oh, wow, he actually puts in the effort. And then even if they don't speak English, it's way easier to connect with them because the energy is already better because they're like, oh, okay, that person actually appreciates the
Yeah.
the local language.
They're actually trying. But you never had really
Yeah.
many you didn't have any challenges not being able to speak the language of the country.
No, 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 no. I mean, the hardest one, actually, oh yeah, I was in China 10 years ago for 4 months as well. I forgot about that. There was an internship in Ningbo, but that was really a challenge because at that time, especially if you're not in Shanghai or Beijing, to not speak Chinese, that's a different animal. Like in
Mm.
China, there was nothing in English. So that was really hard. But apart from those 4 months, it wasn't that much of a problem. But that was really like just pointing somewhere and like yeah, they just don't speak any English there. Like at
Wow.
that time in that place, that was a challenge. But apart from that, no, it was actually
So you were
quite
fine
well.
in Cyprus and you're fine in Thailand now. How much
Yeah.
Thai do you know?
Pasar Thai Dai, Ni Noi means I speak a little bit of Thai, so you can yeah, ordering
Is Thai
food
hard
and
to
getting
learn?
coffee.
Is it a hard language to learn?
It always depends what language you compare it to. Compared to Chinese, which I tried to learn for 2 years, it's easy. Compared to learning English, which I actually did in Australia, it's hard, yeah. But
Mm.
actually, it's not that hard. Like you can pick up Thai. I'd say if you learn it 2 years properly, you can pick it up. Yeah, I
Right.
think there's this framework where like how hard languages are to learn, and German is quite high. Um, what else? I think Finnish is really really high, but Thai is not that high in
Oh,
that
that's good.
category. I
I
don't know
know
the
Finnish
name.
is
Yeah,
high. Finnish, I cannot
yeah,
understand Finnish at all. It's like I'm
yeah. I
hearing
think
it.
that's one of the
It's
hardest ones.
it's
Yeah,
nuts. So you have your
yeah.
consulting business, you're doing businesses on the side too, because not
Mm.
because you just for fun, right? I mean, obviously your main consulting gig is paying for your life.
Yeah, I mean, many things are paying for the life. I mean, the consulting, most of it, and I invested some of that money, which, yeah, depending on what asset class it is, it also pays some dividends by now. I bought some property as well in Thailand, which pays monthly rent. And then, yeah, the consulting thing pays money as well. And the things that I want to do now is, yeah, things that I really enjoy. For example, the newsletter, which just by chance I just started. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to write twice a week. And it's so much fun. Would like to do that more. But the thing is, it's not about the money, which makes it easier to just write about what you want because, yeah, you don't care about the income because you do something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of it comes from the consulting. Yeah, for sure.
And you have
Yeah.
and so if compared to Germany, what would you say you are like cost wise? I mean, are you paying half or a third or like I'm assuming it's a lot cheaper
Mm.
to live in Thailand.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. So because I left Germany 5 years ago while working as a consultant, like, yeah, working as a consultant. So the lifestyle in Germany was lower, I would say, because the prices are higher. So actually, the over the last 5 years, I would say the lifestyle went up a little, or yeah, maybe in a medium amount. But the comparison to the if I would have went up in that degree in Germany with the same lifestyle, I would probably pay double. But since I'm living in Thailand, yeah, I pay roughly what I paid 5 years ago in Germany for a way lower lifestyle. So I would say living costs, if you look at the numbers, it's the same,
Hmm.
but it's definitely cheaper in Thailand. I would say you can live really comfortably, let's say comfortably, not really comfortably in Bangkok, maybe for 2,500 USD a month, like comfortably. But you could also live on half that, yeah. And you can't do that in Germany, really. It's
Wow,
really, oh, it's harder,
that's
yeah.
really cheap.
Yeah. I mean, I don't live on two and a
Here you
half
could
K a
barely
month
live
now.
for 8 or 10. You need at least
Yeah.
10 to live comfortably. But
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's really good.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I
you
don't
don't
live on
want for
that, but
anything.
you could, yeah. Mm.
And you don't want for
No.
anything, right? You got everything
Mm.
you need there. You got, got food, nightclubs, everything you ever wanted. Parks to go
Yeah. And
to, places to run.
exactly. And also one funny thing is what I always get asked is because some people love cooking. I hate cooking so much because I think it's such you buy the things and because I'm one person, I don't have a family, I don't have kids. So it's like if I would have all that, it would make sense to share that ritual and to do
Sure.
that together, you know. But by yourself, it's like you buy all these things and you cook, and then you have all these things left over. And if you order food in Thailand, like if I order like whatever Thai dish I want, it costs like $3 delivered to your door, or maybe
Wow.
$5.
Why would
So
you
it's
want to
like,
cook
yeah,
if it's so cheap? That's crazy.
exactly. So I haven't used the kitchen in 4 years now. It's crazy. It's always a
Fantastic.
fun
I
fact.
love
Yeah.
it. I love it. So what do you do about speaking of money, like what about the tax
Hmm.
situation? Are the taxes high in Thailand? You pay ta I'm assuming you pay tax in Thailand. You don't have to
So
pay
yeah,
anywhere else?
so it depends how you structure it. So there's all sorts of different tax systems. So there's citizens-based tax, which is the US, for example. Then you have residence-based tax, territorial tax, and then you also have a subcategory of territorial tax, which is remittance-based tax. So Thailand is remittance-based, meaning if you pay tax in Thailand, so let's say I would work for a Thai employer and they would pay me my salary, I pay income tax as everyone else. But if I work remotely, which I do, so the client sits somewhere else, the company sits somewhere else. The company sits here in UAE, for example, or in Cyprus, and then the client sits in the States or in Germany, and I sit in Thailand. But the money that is earned and goes to the UAE company, which doesn't go into Thailand into a Thai bank account, is not taxed because it's not remitted. So remittance-based tax, which is
Oh.
gray. So,
Do you
but
pay
then
tax in the UAE for that company?
no, because the UAE company has no corporate tax, 0% up to a certain degree, and over a certain
Smart.
degree is 9%. So basically, yeah, the money that comes from the client to the UAE company is not taxed or legal, so nothing. That's just a setup that works. And then you pay yourself a salary to your Thai account, but that salary can be anything. So you say, okay, how much tax do I want to pay? How much money do I need to live? And then you remit that money into Thailand, and on that money you pay tax. But everything else you just leave in accounts abroad, and that money is not taxed because it's not touching Thailand. So you can basically decide how much tax you want to pay depending on how much money you bring into the country. That's what is beautiful about remittance-based tax or territorial tax. Same with
Nice.
Panama, for example. Yeah, it's a great system that you can use. Yeah.
Is that one of the reasons why you incorporated in Dubai, or was that just so happened to happen because you had that partnership?
It was one of the reasons. So my business partner, he lives in the UAE. He's been living there for I think 8 years by now, and he has his family there. And it made sense because I was in Cyprus. Cyprus is a 3 hour flight from UAE, and so I was like, okay, let's do that in UAE because I want to leave anyways. The next step would be to go there. But another consideration, of course, was tax because
Mm,
yeah, I don't want to pay 50% taxes in Germany. So that made a lot of sense, and we can do it remotely. So yeah, definitely consideration. Yeah.
nice, nice.
Hmm.
So what about let's see, what else was I going to talk about? So we talked about taxes.
Yeah.
What about safety? What's it like in Thailand? I mean, had you been to Thailand before you just decided to go, or did you just go?
Um, Yeah, so safety. That's probably a good question for, I don't know if you have spoken to Brian before, Borderless Living. He
Uh,
has a great Substack as well, and he talks about he makes these country briefs, and they're really good. So talking about country safety in the different tiers, that he's definitely the go-to guy. For me, on a subjective, like judging it subjectively, it's safe. But what's in the news is, for example, the border dispute between Cambodia and Thailand, right? Like that's
hmm
a lot of people heard that.
Yep.
And for people who hear that from abroad, they're like, "Oh my God, there's war going on in Thailand." In Bangkok or Phuket or Samui or the places where all the not all the people, but 90% of the expats go, you don't feel anything about that, you know?
Right.
There was the earthquake that was scary. That was a couple of months back. That was a scary one, but that was the first earthquake in that magnitude that hit Bangkok. But in everyday life, Bangkok or Thailand is safe. Like
Yeah.
there's no not much crime going on. You can walk around safely at night. There's no one like I can walk with my phone and scooters pass me on the street. You don't have to think like, oh, is someone gonna snatch the phone, for example, as it happens in some South American countries.
Right.
There's no not yeah, there's not much violent crime here. So yeah, for me it feels really safe. Yeah.
Nice. So let's talk a little about
Mm.
healthcare. Have you had any issues health-wise that you had to go deal with medical facilities and things like that, or are you doing okay there?
The usual one, like sometimes I have an ear infection or I don't know. I don't know. I think I went to the doctors 3 times in the last 3 years, so not
That's
not
it?
much. Yeah.
Well, you're a healthy
Yeah.
guy, so I can see that.
Yeah.
But
Thank
so
you.
how do you pay for it there? Is there public or do you have to pay for it?
So that's another thing. So as a German living abroad, so in Germany, healthcare is mandatory. You have to get either a private one or by the state, and by the state you just pay a fixed of your salary. But
Yep.
if you leave Germany, you're not covered internationally anymore. And what you do then is you take out an international health insurance. There's two things: international travel and international health. The travel one is really cheap, but if you stay long term as an expat, you get the international healthcare
Right.
insurance, and that's actually quite cheap. I mean, I pay how much do I pay? $300 a month,
Holy cow, that's
which
nothing.
yeah, and I'm
Who
not
are you
insured
with?
against.
What company?
So it's called Passport Card, which is
Hmm.
a German company. There's different ones. There's Passport Card, 4 Year Global Health, and there's also another one I can't remember the name now. But 4 Year Global Health and Passport Card are the ones which are really interesting, and 90% of the people that I know use those two, and they're pretty cool. You can basically decide on your deductible. You can decide if something happens to me that is small. Like for example, if I need medication for an ear infection, for example, I have to pay that. That's like $30. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I pay that myself. So the deductible is like, $500. So everything above $500 is getting reimbursed. Everything up to that, I just pay myself. And if everything bad happens, like break my leg or I get cancer or whatever, then yeah, I'm insured. So I'm in
Right.
that category. But you can pay 700 or 800 or 1,000 a month, and then everything that happens will basically be insured. That's
Right.
what you can decide. But as a guy which is 37, we're like, okay, if anything small happens, also the process, then you go there, you get the medication, and you need to submit that form, and then you need to say why that whole process. I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to pay for it myself. And everything that goes above a certain amount, I'm like, okay, now yeah, basically want to get that reimbursed. Yeah,
Yeah. And
but
then
it's super easy that process. Yeah,
the cost of medications and things like that, those are pretty good, pretty low.
pretty low, depending on what you want. The popular ones, like if you want to get Ozempic or Mounjaro or antidepressants, like the things that a lot of people need or want, that's still expensive all around the world. But stuff like, yeah, normal medication, let's say, it's quite cheap. Yeah.
Nice. So
Yeah.
so it's the cost of living is a lot lower, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So you don't need to maintain a hugely high salary in order to be comfortable there, and the rest is just savings, right?
The rest is savings. Yeah, the rest is savings. And then, yeah, you can decide how you invest those, either in, yeah, franchise
Like in a
businesses
tea
or
shop franchise or something.
a t-shirt. Yeah, for example. Yeah.
I love it.
Or whatever. Yeah.
I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of Thai tea. Do you sell Thai tea? Maybe I'll come visit next time I go to Bangkok. That should
Yeah,
definitely
you should.
that'd be
We
fun.
we do we sell Thai tea? We have a new drink since yesterday. It's called Red Blood, but it's not Thai tea. There's raspberry in there. No. We have some Thai specific drinks like matcha, for example. Like
Hmm.
it's basically that it's not really tea. I don't know if you heard brands like Hey Tea or Nose Tea or Nai Shui. They're Chinese brands and they sell this tea and there's cream cheese on top and there's some fruit in
I
there.
know.
It's a
What's the
popular
deal
thing in
with this
Asia.
cheese top tea? I don't know. Is that
Man, it
they
just
actually
tastes
have cream
amazing.
cheese on top? That's nuts.
Yeah, and man, it is like coconut or salt and sweet, and people love it. And basically, it's like you have the tea base, and you have some fruit in there, and then you have cream cheese on top, and then you have different flavors like strawberry, watermelon, mango, and also matcha. And there's a coffee twist like tapioca coffee as well, or da hong pao. The mix sounds weird, and when I first heard it, I was like, I don't even know how to pronounce it. But then I went to Dubai and I tried it, and I was like, man, it actually tastes amazing. We should bring that to Thailand. So
Wow. We did.
Yeah, it's
There,
a
there
pretty
is
cool
one in
thing.
a local. One opened up in a local mall, and every time I walk
Yeah,
past it, I thought I should try that. But it sounds
yeah,
weird. Cheese on top, cheese top tea, right? I just thought
yeah.
it's kind of strange, but it's
Try it.
probably good. It's probably good. I wouldn't be surprised. So the
Yeah,
the
try
the
try it.
$100,000 question is,
Yeah.
what about internet speeds? Because a lot of the digital
Oh,
nomads who are out there who are probably listening in are
yeah,
are doing they're doing live streaming, they're doing their videos, they're
yeah,
content creators. What's the
yeah.
deal with how is the internet speeds there? Are they good?
Oh, incredible. It's like
Really?
400 Mbits everywhere. Like, yeah, it's super quick. Like it's quicker than Germany. So everywhere you
Really?
go, it's super fast. Yeah. I mean, there's some caveats for if you go, for example, or to some small island like Koh Tao or Koh Phangan, which are beautiful islands. Sometimes the connection breaks there, but places like Bangkok, Phuket, Chiang Mai, yeah, the internet is super fast. Like I never
Hmm.
have any issues. As you can see now, I'm really clear.
But you don't actually do any streaming video for any of your content, right, that you're creating. So you just
No,
do.
I'm writing. Yeah, solely writing at the moment. I'm planning to do some more stuff because it's so much fun, and I'm kind of looking at, okay, how can I create some cool videos about the topics because some of them are quite dry, like taxes and all these visa things, and then the pieces I write sometimes are really long because I think all that information needs to be in there.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about maybe if I can explain in 2 minutes what are the most important things to, for example, move to Ireland or something then I would like to do that because I think it's easier for people to digest. But yeah, I don't know how to do that yet in a proper way. I have to learn it. Yeah,
You'll be ending up doing TikToks or something like that. Or you're gonna do it on Substack, right? Of course. I mean, that's
maybe.
that's
Yeah, I want to
that's
do it on
where
Substack. Yeah,
that's where
I
you
love
need to do
Substack.
it for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So it sounds as if you always had the bug to travel. So you never were worried
Mm,
about leaving. You were always thinking, where can I go next? You
yeah,
always did that, right?
basically. Yeah, I always was my, and I really and I have some internally. It really interests me not just the travel part, but also the way how it works to actually be able to be in another country. So when
Mm,
I had that working travel visa, I was like, wow, I can because I extended that by working on a banana farm for 3 months. So I was like,
nice.
wow, like I have that visa. And now Australia says if you work on a banana farm for 3 months, you can extend it because it's really high. It was a high sought after visa at the time because everyone wanted to do work and travel in Australia. It was amazing. It's like if I work on that farm for 3 months, the government says I can stay another year. That's incredible. Like what else is out there, you know? So I was like, okay,
Why wouldn't I
how
do
can I
that? I mean, it's just
yeah,
working on a banana farm. How hard could
what
it
are some
be?
yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, it was fun. I mean, there were different jobs. Some people had to go in the fields and use the machete and like cut these I don't know what you call them, branches, and then they would fall on their shoulders and then they had to carry that to the shed.
Nice. Like what kind
And
of
I was like,
job?
wow.
Where can you go to get a job where you can actually use a machete all day long? That sounds like so much fun. I would love to do that.
Yeah. But I was so skinny. I was like, no, this guy can't use a machete. We have to put him somewhere else. So then we put me in some banana puree factory where I had to like make sure the puree is made out of this, which was actually great because yeah, the machete thing was a hard one to do. Yeah, so I did that. Yeah, but yeah, but I was always interested like how what kind of things do countries offer and things and that came from at that time it was things now it's visas or anything like what's out there what you can use and how can you make use of that and what are the paths it always interested me since that Australia incident that happened where like oh there's a way what other ways are there and since then I was hooked to find out well, and there's so many ways to do so many things worldwide so yeah just caught me.
Yeah, and that's what happens is that people forget that there are all these programs out there that
Yeah.
there are, and they want people to come and work and be there and stuff like that. So it's almost like the people think it's going to be a slog to do that, but there's actually a demand for people to come and work and do things there, right?
Yeah, I mean, depends on the country. Some countries want your money in terms of, hey, we would like that person to stay and just spend his money that he earns somewhere else. Like if he
Right.
has these remote worker visas, the idea behind that is, okay, well, Mauritius, for example, or whatever country, it's like, oh,
Oh, that's a place
there's
I've
not
always wanted
many.
to visit. What's it like? Have you been
Yeah,
to Mauritius?
no, it's on my list, high on my list. But there's like these remote worker visas where they say like, oh, I come for a year and then you can work here, but there's not much business going on here. But if you have a salary from abroad, you can bring that here and spend it on food, spend it on your condo, spend it on nightlife, and that's great for
Right.
us.
They want to
Then
bring
there's other countries.
money from outside the country in. Right.
Exactly. They want you to spend your money that you earn abroad. And then there's countries which have, yeah, skilled occupation. For example, in Australia, they have a skilled occupations list called skilled occupations list, SOL or SOP. And then you basically, if your job is on that list, you can apply for that visa. And then they say, hey, you have a great skill that we need in Australia. We want your talent. So some people want talent, some people want money. Yeah, it depends on the program.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So we're getting close to the end of our time, but I'd love to ask
Already.
you
Oh my
about, I know
God.
we have to, like if you were to, like, what would be like the number one piece of advice you would give somebody who is thinking about
Yeah.
doing this, but they're concerned about getting into it?
The number one advice. Wow, I actually wrote something down. I want to make sure I'm definitely not gonna forget that one. Yeah. So to move abroad. What was the number one advice for what exactly?
To, well, for someone who's thinking about getting into life, but they're like on the edge, they're concerned about what's going to happen to
Ah,
get into it, like they're worried about it.
okay. So can I give more than one, or do you
Yeah,
want
of
me to give
course.
just one?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay.
We got time.
Okay, so I wrote some down because I really think it's important. So one thing I notice, especially when I meet people here, is they're from all different age cohorts, and I hear that a lot. It's like, oh, maybe I'm too old. I'm too old to go abroad. I'm too old to get that visa, whatever. And that's not true. I mean, I have people who come here when they're in their 50s or 60s,
Hmm.
and they have so much energy. So I think that age thing, like, oh man, do I have the energy? Am I too old? That doesn't matter at all. So whatever age you are, you can always do that. That's one thing. The second thing for people who want to move abroad seriously, I'm thinking about I wrote down start small. So the thing about moving somewhere is you don't really know yet how you're going to feel there when you haven't been there yet. So I think a
Mm.
test run makes sense. So if you say, hey, I would like to move to these three countries, whether it's Thailand, there's I don't know UK or Ireland. If you have the opportunity to just go there for a couple of weeks or maybe a month, you should do that
Yeah,
instead of saying, okay. I read all about Thailand. That sounds great. I'm packing everything and I'm actually moving there. I went
right,
to Singapore for a month in 2019 before I actually said, okay, this is my place. And then I knew it was my place. So I
right.
would say definitely do a field test.
Hmm.
Um, then the the money and taxes thing. Yeah. The last thing maybe is the money and taxes thing. Don't overcomplicate it. I mean, there's so many ways where you can structure it in a clever way. So start with something that works for you in the beginning. I mean, for US citizens, it's a bit more difficult, but some people say, "Oh, I need a proper bank before I move abroad." It's like, yeah, just use a fintech for now. You can
Yeah,
always expand that whole stack that you use, and that goes for banking, but that basically goes for everything. Yeah, but that would be my top three advices. Yeah.
right. So what do you use for, like, let's talk about specific things. Do you have a specific bank that you
Yeah.
work with that's usable internationally, or is this like something from Germany, or how do you do your banking?
I do my banking in a really diversified way. So there's banks I have in the UAE, there's banks I have in Thailand. So I have two bank accounts in Thailand, for example, one for rental, one for living. I have some bank accounts in Germany still, because in Germany we have direct banks, we have normal banks, and direct banks are basically normal banks, but they don't have branches.
Hmm.
And some of those banks allow you to have a bank account as a German living abroad. So
Oh,
I have
cool.
bank accounts with those. So I say, hey, you live abroad, that's fine. Just tell us where, and then yeah, you can have that bank account. Um, and then I use a couple of fintechs as well. So yeah, I have a whole system where I'm like, okay, the money comes in from the client, goes here, and then what part of that goes to which one? Because I want to diversify the risk first of all, and second of all, I need money in different places for different companies and for different for different purposes. So I make sure that the money is at the right place at the right time. But for everyday use, I more or less use fintechs and local bank accounts in Thailand for now. Yeah.
Are they any fintechs that anybody would know, or are these just
Wise
specific?
and Revolut. Wise and
Oh yeah,
Revolut
Wise and
I use.
Revolut.
Yeah.
Those
So
are pretty
yeah, these are
common.
the two. Yeah.
So, but you
Yeah.
use
These are the
more
big
than
ones.
just that. Like, somebody who wanted to do this as a nomad, they couldn't just get a Revolut account and be done, right? So they need more than one account, right?
I mean, if it depends on like let's say if you're a nomad that travels everywhere, who doesn't have a fixed base with also like a condo and a lease agreement and a utility bill, because that's more or less needed if you want to up a local account, then I would say, yeah, go with the fintechs and maybe try to find a bank in your home country which says, hey, you're a nomad, that's fine. You can travel, you can do that nomad thing. We're gonna have you as a client. That's okay. And then on top of that, you use the fintech for everyday use. But if you're, let's say, I don't know, a snowmad or a nomad that has a fixed base somewhere and travels from that new base, then you can say, okay, I have my account in let's say in America, then I have my fintech, which I use for everyday use, and then I live in Thailand and I open up a local account here as well. And then you have three. You have your home account, you have your fintech, and you have your local account, which is with a real bank, which is a bit more security than depending on the country, of course, not universally, than a fintech, because a fintech is a fintech, is not a bank. Yeah.
Right. So
Maybe
that would
Revolut
probably
is
be the
becoming a
minimum.
bank.
That would probably be the
Yeah.
minimum setup you have. So one in your home country, and then one in your current country, and then one, and then the fintech, so you can work between them. That would
Ideally, that's
probably,
the perfect setup. Yeah, you
yeah.
have a local account where you spend most of your time. You have the fintech if you travel. And the cool thing about the fintechs is as well, you can activate the countries that you want to spend money in. For example, you say, hey, I want to deactivate that region of the world because I'm not traveling there. And then let's say your card gets stolen and someone is in that region, or they want to use that money in that region, that card, they can't use it because yeah, it's not
Nice.
accessible. Yeah.
So you mentioned
Yeah.
the visa that you had for Thailand. Was that difficult to get? Was it expensive?
Yeah, so the visa for Thailand is I call it golden visa because it's basically the equivalent. It's called elite visa, and there's different tiers. It costs, I think it starts now at 25,000 USD for a 5-year visa, and then it goes up to
Oh, so you can just buy your way into the country with that cost for the
basically,
25K.
it's a long-term tourist visa. Yeah, there's different ways. This is basically the least friction one. So there's a lot of perks that go along with that. That you don't have to do paperwork. You don't have to go to immigration. They handle everything for you.
Right.
So if you want to focus on work and you want to not be bothered by government visits or anything like that, it's a great way. But yeah, it's a bit pricey. Yeah, for now.
But do they have a digital nomad visa as well, or is
Yeah.
that what most people use?
Yeah, actually, after I got that visa, like a year later, they announced that one. Actually, they implemented it already. It's called DTV, Destination Thailand Visa. Only costs like 10,000 baht, and you can stay up to 5 years, but you can only stay 180 days at the time. So you have to travel out of the country and back in, and you have to
How
go
long
to
for do you have
immigration
to
every
how
80
long do you
days.
have to leave the country for those 180
Not long. You
days?
can just fly. You can just fly out and back in again.
Oh,
It's
really?
not yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so it's not like Schengen where you have to leave the Schengen for a month or like three months and then
No.
come back.
No. That's not like that. Yeah. But then you have to go to immigration again and all this kind of stuff that I don't want to do. So I got the elite one.
So it
Yeah.
might be
But
worth
then
the
again, I
extra
didn't have it.
money.
Yeah, depending on the funds you have available as well, because it's not cheap, and depending on the hustle that you want to go through with immigration and government offices. And I had that so much in the last years, like with Cyprus and UAE and Estonia. Like, I had so many things that I had
Yeah,
to
you,
deal
you
with
it's like
governments.
purposely complicated situation there because you've got all these things going on.
Yeah, and then I was like, you know what? Now I really want to have a visa where I'm not bothered and I can just focus on what I would love doing. Like I
Yeah,
love working. I love just, doing my things, and that was the perfect solution for that. Yeah.
yeah. So did you say 25,000? Is that 25,000 baht or 10,000 baht
USD.
or oh USD? So
25,000
25,000.
USD, yeah, for
And the other one,
mm,
the digital nomad visa, was that 10,000 US
10,000
dollars?
baht. Yeah. So that's like 10,000 baht.
Yeah,
That's like, I don't know how much exactly, but not much, a couple of hundred
that's
bucks.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's real. So for someone who wants to do it on the cheap, but they're
Yeah.
okay with doing some extra paperwork, then that's really the way to go.
Yeah, also if someone, I mean, if you're coming to Thailand for the first time, or yeah, and you're like, hey, I don't know yet exactly. Maybe it also makes sense to not buy that expensive visa just yet. Maybe stay here a year on that destination Thailand visa, and then say, hey, you know what, this is my place. I love it here, and I want to buy a house, or no, you can't buy a house, but I want to buy a condo or whatever, and then you can always go to a longer or more expensive route. Yeah. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't recommend it to buy it before you spend some time in Thailand to
Oh
actually
no,
know,
for
hey,
sure.
this is the place. Yeah.
But that's the other
Yeah.
question I wanted to ask you is that you said you had some property there. Was that difficult to find something and buy something? Like
Not
for
really, no.
someone
I
who
have Yeah, I have some. I mean, in general, it's not hard to buy a condo as a foreigner. There's a quota they have. So every condo that is freehold, meaning you can buy property, but you can't buy land in
Mm,
Thailand. You can own land, but you can own, for example, a condo. But then there's these freehold condos where 51% of the condo has to be in Thai hands and 49% can be in foreign hands. So
mm,
there's 100 units, 49 can be sold to foreigners, 51 can be sent to Thais. And then you just see what condo you like. I wanted to buy one for investment purposes and not for living in myself. And I bought one in Chiang Mai, not in Bangkok. And the process was pretty straightforward. I think it took we decided on it, and then it took 3 weeks from like to transfer the money. You have to go to the bank. The bank has to verify the funds, has to do the KYC. Then you have to go to the government office and do the title deed, which is the I don't know what's it in the States, basically the sheet that says this is your place. Yeah, that took 3 weeks, and then it was all done. Yeah,
nice. So it
it was
wasn't too
pretty quickly. Yeah.
complicated at all. And you had
No.
no issues with but you said so you don't really own the land. Like you can't really own the land. You
Mm.
have to be Thai to own the land, but you can own a a unit
You
in
can
a
basically own a
property,
unit in a property that is on land,
right?
but you can't own you couldn't buy the whole building where all the condos are in, but you
Right.
can buy a condo which is in the building. Yeah, if that makes
Nice.
sense.
But you own that condo. So that's
Yeah.
was it expensive? Were you
No,
able to buy it outright or did you get a
it was
mortgage or
no, it was less than six figures actually. You can buy a condo in Thailand for cheap. Yes, it's not that much.
well,
Yeah.
what would you say an average price for a condo of that size be?
Average price, I mean, between you can buy one, like let's say a studio, a small one with 30 to 40 square meters in Chiang Mai, between 40 and 80,000 USD, depending on
Wow, that's amazing.
how, yeah, it's not expensive. But I mean, that depends. It's not a super nice condo. It's just one for investment purposes. So yeah, it's not the most expensive, not the most beautiful one. But if you want a nice, well, let's say you want a nice one bedroom condo in Chiang Mai that you actually really want to live in, probably gonna cost you 150K.
That's still pretty good.
So it's
That's
still
still
pretty
pretty
good.
good.
In
Yeah.
Bangkok, let's say, it's probably that number probably doubles. So,
Mm,
well, no, maybe not doubles. Maybe between 250 and 300K, you can get a nice place for one bedroom that you actually like. Yeah.
nice, nice. I got to ask you more about that, but we're running out of time. So
Yeah, no
do you have
problem.
this has been great. Thank you so much. And if someone wants to
Yeah.
get in touch with you, what's the best way? Like how do they reach you?
Yeah, so Digital Citizen is the publication, and you can always DM me there. I'll always answer everyone who texts me there. And if you want to write me a mail, it's ben@clubcitizen.co. That's the email link to the Substack. And I'm also on LinkedIn. So if you Benjamin Hies, Hies, you can
Mhm.
just text me there. Yeah, text me on Substack. It's the easiest way.
Excellent. Well, I'll put all the links in the show notes so people can go directly to you. So this has been great. And I do want to talk to
Cool.
you more about some Thai stuff. So
Yeah, sure, no problem.
we'll talk later.
Okay, no
Thank
problem.
you so much. This has been
Thanks
great.
for having me. It was a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
a lot
Okay.
of fun.
Okay,
Thank you
bye
so
bye.
much.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Thanks.
Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained. I thrive, I thrive. Oh, I thrive, I thrive.